Hello everyone, I'm Mike Kettles, the Executive Director with Cure Glaucoma Foundation, and the purpose of this video is to introduce you to the Texas Workforce Commission's Workforce Solutions program for individuals with low vision and blindness. We're joined today by Cherome Phillips with the Texas Workforce Solutions. Cherome will explain to us how the Older Individuals with Blindness program and the Vocational Rehabilitation program work. She will explain the eligibility requirements and how to access these resources. So welcome, Cherome, and thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
So I heard about this program from a patient. I was talking to a glaucoma patient early last week, and they had applied and they explained some of the benefits of the program. So I thought it might be nice if we could share this with a larger audience.
Okay, well that's great. Well, I will explain to you a little bit about my program. My particular program is called OIB. OIB stands for Older Individuals with Blindness. In our program, to qualify for this particular program, you have to be at least 55 years of age and needing independent living skills. Another requirement is that you are not working, that you are not employed. That's not saying that you can't eventually go to work, but at that point we would send you to a different program, which is the VR program, which I'll explain to you a little bit later. But for this program, not working, seeking and needing independent living skills. My job is to go in and help those with low vision and or blindness and do an assessment and see where they're having issues in their home. A lot of our customers, I would say at least 80% of our customers, their biggest problem is they can't read their mail anymore, or they can't identify certain things in their kitchen anymore. And this becomes, a real big headache for a lot of them, especially the newer ones that have been blind not that long. With this particular program, a lot of our customers are trying not to have to move in with a relative, not having to go to a nursing home. And that's our overall goal, to make it a little bit easier for them. So they won't have to go into these places, or they can stay on their own and don't have to, depend on a relative or whatever. So the way it goes, we get referrals from all over Dallas and surrounding counties. I particularly have 5 different counties that I cover. There are only 15 OIB workers throughout the state of Texas. So we all have a good amount of different counties that we serve. The rules are the same all the way across the state, but we get referrals in from different places, doctors, Lighthouse of the Blind, Humana, all different types of places. And what happens is we ask that you at least get the basic information, name, address, and a particular age and county that they live in. That is very important. So we won't be transferring them from person to person.
Right.
And straight, from the beginning. Once we get that referral, then I contact them on the phone or go to their home. We're kind of in between that with this COVID thing. Prior to COVID, that is what we did. We went into the homes. We would make a phone call on the phone, and then we would set up an appointment to go into the home. And once we got in the home, then we were able to do an assessment, able to look around and see how they were managing things, what the home, what type of shape the home was in, if they're needing help outside of our resources, and we could do referrals as well. So once we get the referral, we contact the customer, do a rundown of what they're needing, what troubles they are having, and a lot of them sometimes will say, "Oh, Cherome, I just don't know. I'm just blind and I can't do anything."
Okay.
So you get a wide range of and then we come in and we do an assessment. We get eye medical records. In order to qualify for this program, another qualification, you have to be at least 20/70 or less in your better eye with corrected vision. Or your visual fields has to be at least 20%. Okay.
Do they need do they need to be a resident of Texas also to be eligible?
Yes.
Okay.
For our program, yes, yes. But there are OIB programs just about in all states.
Okay.
So, yeah, some sorts. There
And
sure.
do you serve any undocumented patients?
We serve those that are not legally. I had one just recently that's not legally able to get a job here, or they have a social security number. If they have a social security number, be it temporary, be it just for certain purposes, then we are able to serve them.
Okay.
If they do, then we do not. We cannot. So I hope that kind of answered your question.
Yes.
But yeah, they have to have at least a social security card to be here. And like I said, I had one of those, and it was a restricted social, but nonetheless, it was a social security card, so I was able to serve him. I sure was. And, he didn't speak English, so we used the interpreter line, and we're able to communicate like that through the interpreter line. And then he had family members as well that was able to interpret and help me, with his things. So once we get the records back from the eye doctor and things like that, then I'm able to make them eligible for our services. Then we'd have another meeting, which we call a planning meeting. This is where we start talking about what issues they are having in the home. And there's a list of questions. How do you tell time? How do you go about knowing what color your clothing is? How do you go about reading your mail? And those answers are, my family member helps me, or I use my magnifier glass and get real close until, and at that point, then I let them know what we have to offer to make that a little bit easier for them. And so majority of the things are just having issues with reading mail and things like that. And we have different reading devices, magnifiers, talking watches, talking clocks, and things like that. We also have outside resources that can help, that we designate to help our customers, such as O&M training, orientation and mobility, where they learn to walk and use the white cane. We have independent living skills trainers outside that can come in and help as well as diabetic trainers that can come in and help as well. We have a lot of customers that are dealing with diabetes. So we have diabetes education that can come in and help them and get talking glucometers and different things like that to help them so they can do it on their own. They've gotten so used, a lot of them have gotten so used to, well, my daughter does it, or I have to wait on this, or I listen to the clicks and, for the insulin and things like that. Okay. So we show them there's a better way and an easier way to get things done. Sure do.
If someone wants to apply, I guess you said earlier, there's a lot of people who were referred probably through physicians or social workers to your program. If someone wanted to apply directly, how would they go about doing that?
So there's a couple of ways. You can go to the website, and let's see, I can pull that up for you. Okay. The TWC website.
So that's just going to Texas Workforce Commission's website.
Right. Going to Texas Workforce. Are you able to see that?
Actually, I have it up on my screen. I can't see yours, but I think we have the same thing up.
Okay, yeah. And then you would just scroll down to where it says people with disabilities.
Okay.
And then you come on down on the right-hand side. It says independent living services for older individuals who are blind. Okay. And on that.
So I'm on that page now.
Okay. And then to the right-hand side, you're going to see the OIB helpline. So that's going to get you to the right location. You call this number here, or you can email. There's both. And they will put you in contact with the correct OIB worker. Okay. And then also the page gives you a lot of, different, it tells you the steps, what to expect, what some of the requirements are and things like that as well. But that's going to be the quickest way is to call the OIB helpline, and the number that is listed right there, or email it. Okay, and direct you on how to get there. All else fails, you can contact your local Texas Workforce Commission office, and they will put you in contact with a BVI counselor or OIB worker.
Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so there was another program also that we talked to, the VR program, or Vocational Rehabilitation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about that? I know that's not your program, if I understand you correctly, but could you give us...
I'm with VR, but not in the counselor perspective. But the opposite of the VR program, they the same things that I do with my program as far as the trainings go. But they're able to take it a little bit farther because their goal is vocational rehab. Their goal is to get them back employed. Okay. With the VR program, we have a lot of specialty caseloads, BVI counselors, blind vocational counselors that work just with the blind. And then we have VR counselors that work with all the other disabilities that you can think of. And their main goal, like I said, is to get them back to work or keep them employed. If someone's worried, I have, especially with the BVI caseload, I have cataracts and I don't have the insurance or the money or something to pay for them, and I'm going to get fired, because I'm not going to be able to see to do my job. Then you would contact your local BVI counselor under the VR program, and they would get you in. Whereas our program, we don't do any sort of surgeries or things like that. They do. Okay. And you take it a little farther. If you're worried about, they're just going to put me on some job or, just something, they're not. They're going to place you on a job that's fit for you. And there's a lot of training that comes, ahead of time. They're going to make sure you're ready and you have all the things that you need in place to start your job. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. The VR, and they work with all age groups on the VR side. So okay. You can be from, the 99. There's not an age limit on that at all. The only difference is they are being employed, and the ones who come to me are no longer interested in being employed, and you have to be 55 for my program. So that's the biggest difference.
So if they wanted to check out the VR program online, it looks like it's under People with Disabilities, mm-hmm. and then VR and OIB mm-hmm. provider resources.
Right. So let's go back.
Okay.
So you would go, yes, under VR, and that's right. And you would open it up, and you would have everything that you needed right there. And you would scroll down. If you look, let's see, under related topics, you can just click on VR Rehabilitation Services.
Oh, I see it. Let me highlight it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here.
And then come over to where it says adults.
So I went to that page.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, so they have an adults section, a youth and student, rehabilitation center, and then VR older individuals who are blind program. So
that's right.
Okay.
So yes, we have particular counselors that work just with children in school, in high school, and then once they transition out, they come over to the regular adult VR program if needed. So we work with all ages. There's specialty counselors for all groups that work with those, from children on up to the older individuals.
And it looks like there's a contact number here on the right as well for that program, yes. And an email mm-hmm. address.
Right, and they will put you in contact with
okay, excellent.
Counselor or your office, the one nearest to you.
Well, thank you so much for that overview, Cherome. That was incredibly helpful.
Well, I hope so. There's a lot that we do, but you've gotten the gist of the different programs and what it takes to qualify for those different programs. Right. So, but if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to give me a call or email anytime.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.